Hey, welcome. Here we are, Talking Church, and this is the final Talking Church before the Christmas break. So Stuart's gone for the more modern Christmas jumper today. I've gone for the kind of American wood chopping look.
Wild West.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to go chop wood for the fire.
Yes,
and
you
we're going
are.
to eat beans, even though we're celebrating Christmas.
Taking the home country road.
Here we are. Right, we are on the Talking Church before we break for Christmas. So there is no Talking Church next week, and we will be back in January with a whole new bunch of Talking Church. And normally at this point we would go welcome Forge, but the Forge aren't here. They've all broken up for Christmas. And it's been an amazing year
been
for Forge,
brilliant.
hasn't it? First term, all done.
Yeah,
and,
we've had about 3.5 months of solid lessons, and it's been fantastic. And every one of them, just they've stayed the course. They're so teachable, such a good mix of students.
And not
loving it.
We've lost none of them. They're all in there still, loving every second.
Right in there.
I do miss them here this morning because normally we have that cheer and that.
They warm the room up a little bit as well, don't they?
They do. But they'll be back in January, and so will we when we come back.
Great.
So here we are. This is the final Talking Church before we go into Christmas, and we're going to talk all things Christmas. So, all right.
Why not?
If you don't know, this is Pastor Steuart. I'm sure
Hello.
you know that by now, but if not, this is Pastor Steuart, and he's the exec pastor over all of the congregations. And I'm going to ask you some fast fire questions about Christmas, Steuart.
Okay.
Just so that you can let some secrets out.
Okay.
What is your favourite childhood memory of Christmas?
Christmas Eve. Love Christmas Eve.
Okay.
Getting ready, getting everything ready, getting in our pyjamas. We never did pyjama hunts like we do now with our kids.
So that's a new tradition?
For me, that's a new tradition.
Okay.
As far as I know, unless I just forgot them.
All right. Did Carla bring that tradition in, or was it one that you
Carla
invented
did,
yourselves?
Yeah. I'd rather only buy pyjamas every 4 years.
Cool. So what was it about Christmas Eve that you used to like?
The excitement, just getting things ready for Father Christmas.
All right.
Putting the now apparently I learnt on Sunday that people don't put put a bottle of beer out for Father Christmas. They put a glass of milk out.
Yeah.
But we always put a bottle of beer out for Father Christmas when we were kids.
Was that your mum, your dad? What do you think the influence of that was?
I think my dad was quite clear that Father Christmas was into the beer.
And was the beer gone in the morning?
Yeah, and the mince pie.
There you go.
Yeah.
And was your dad happy?
Always.
There you go, see? Who knows? We'll leave that one open. Okay, so Christmas Eve. You love the buzz of Christmas Eve, going to bed, waiting for the presents and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. What's the worst present you ever received?
That's easy.
Go on.
Well, it's called a spiralizer.
Okay.
And I do apologise if anyone's watching Talking Church.
Oh, you got that last year?
It's about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And if anyone's watching Talking Church and, they kind of gave that to me.
Because it was a secret
It was a secret Santa gift
at
our staff and volunteer Christmas meal about 3 or 4 years ago. And the idea is you put your carrot in the thing at the top, you wind the handle, and it spiralises it, which means it breaks it into small strands like spaghetti. And to be honest, I was gutted.
Yeah.
I eat vegetables, I eat salad, I eat veg and fruit, but I knew that I would never use it.
So what happened to it?
I don't know.
Have you forgiven the person that gave it to you?
I've forgiven, but the thing is, when it's Secret Santa, you buy the person the present that you'd like.
Or you think would be really funny when they open it in front of people.
Yeah. So this year I've gone for our Secret Santa thing that we're going to do later today. I've gone for a present that I would really like to receive myself. So when that person opens the present, if I don't get the same thing, I'm going to be just like.
What have you got? Like a series of bookmarks in alphabetical order?
I can't say what I've got them because then they'll know, won't they?
All right, so we have got
I've got them some coat hangers.
We have got our staff Christmas lunch this afternoon, haven't we? Which is good. That's always good on a Tuesday, isn't
Very
it?
good. Yeah.
So you're looking forward to the Secret Santa bit?
I love the Secret Santa bit.
But not if you're going to get a vegetable chopper.
I had a parcel delivered here this morning.
That was exciting. I was here when that happened.
It was exciting until I opened
wasn't it?
Till I opened it, and it was some coat hangers.
Okay.
About 20 plastic, quite flimsy coat hangers. I have no idea.
But someone ordered it from your Amazon account.
Those coat hangers.
Somebody ordered it from your Amazon account.
It looks like it because it's got my name on it.
That's Carla saying, "Clear your mess up, mate." That's what that is. That's one of those presents. You like those presents when you open it and it's a hint. It's like a drill. What's been said there? Get some DIY done, or a paintbrush.
Or hang some clothes out, right?
Or coat hangers.
Yeah.
All right, here's a random one. Your worst ever vegetable at Christmas on Christmas dinner?
Red cabbage. Hate red cabbage.
Red cabbage.
Yeah. I love sprouts. I love broad beans. Broad beans and sprouts are my ideal vegetables.
Not everybody else is in the room, though.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Are they yours?
I love a Brussels sprout.
You mean around the Christmas table?
What could happen later in the day, I think, really. Brussels sprouts and broad beans.
But red cabbage as well.
No, red cabbage, I think that's like a German thing, isn't it?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
No. Parsnips.
And I like cauliflower cheese. Love that.
Oh,
yeah.
What about parsnips?
Not a massive fan. If they're really crispy, fine. If they're soft and soggy, which my wife's vegetables are not soft and soggy, by the way, they're very nice and flavoury. But if they are soft and soggy, I don't like parsnips.
I hated parsnips as a kid. I really didn't like them. But then, I think it was in my 20s, I just began to love them. Parsnips can be like people. Sometimes they may not be your flavour, but then you grow to love them.
Soft and soggy people.
No, the flavour of people. Anyway, let's move on because we're heading somewhere that could get us into trouble. Okay, all right, so here we are at Christmas, all right? And let me go through my list of questions that we're looking at here. All right.
This is fun.
Favourite things about Christmas, we've done that. We've looked at vegetables, we've spoken of things. My worst present, right?
I'd like to know.
Was... There used to be a band when I was a kid, which was a few years ago, called the Bay City Rollers.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Music was okay, but it was really a girl band.
Is that the one that goes, goodbye, baby, baby, bye-bye?
Goodbye, baby, baby, bye-bye. Yeah, that was the Bay City Rollers.
Right.
And everyone had tartan on their trousers and stuff like that.
Right.
But it was really something that the girls liked,
Yeah.
And I remember opening this present. My mum had bought me these presents, and I'm ripping through the presents, and I open it, and she's got me a Bay City Roller bag. You could get beaten up going to school with that. Seriously, if I went to school with a Bay City Roller...
Did you go to school with it?
No, I didn't. I just looked at my mum and said, Mum, Mum, no way am I going to leave this house with a Bay City roller. I mean, I lived in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
It was we were surviving as it was, you know.
Yeah, barely.
Go to school with a Bay City roller bag, but anyway.
All my school bags came from the Tiger tokens from Esso.
Okay.
Yeah, I always had an Esso Tiger token bag.
Wow.
Yeah. so Dad would collect them when every £6 of petrol you put in, you got a Tiger token.
And that was your Christmas present?
No. But I there was at least
so he'd
2 or 3
sit there drinking
bags.
a beer, eating a mince pie. Watching you eat in open bags with tigers on them.
Yeah, Dad also drank beer and ate mince pies on Christmas Day.
Never. That was Santa.
But
mate.
Father Christmas, the night before, would always have that bottle of beer and that mince pie. Yeah.
Okay, well there we go. There's an inside look into the world of Steuart at Christmas time. I hope that's been
crazy
been
world.
useful. And isn't it strange that when you go from being the kid on that side of Christmas to being the parent, and then watching your children? We've both got older children now. We've seen them grow up.
Yeah.
But man, it's just a different viewpoint.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is.
With younger children, it's
It is. It really is.
And the excitement, the Christmas Eve excitement. We're going to the pantomime this Christmas Eve.
Oh no, you're not.
Oh yes, we are.
What are you going to see?
I think we're going to see Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Can we come? Can we come as well?
If you book a ticket at the King's Theatre, yeah.
All right. So here we are. We're approaching Christmas, and it's an unusual Christmas this year because for some people it is exciting. There's nothing really that's changed, but for other people, the thought of Christmas increases their heart rate. It's like already struggling, already looking at making ends meet. And when we say Christmas, that doesn't bring cheer. You know, I was walking around Tesco's this morning, and they were playing over the Tesco's tannoy. I wish it could be Christmas every day. But then I looked down the aisles, and there was someone who was homeless. Or they looked homeless. They had all their stuff with them.
Yeah.
And it was just a weird picture to have over the, you know, blaring out in Tesco's, oh, I wish it could be Christmas every day. And then looking at this precious lady who isn't thinking about Christmas. She's thinking about surviving, making it through the week. As a church, we have to be able to celebrate what Christmas is about, which is obviously the message of Jesus. But also we have to see people that are in a great place at Christmas time, but people also that are not in such a great place. How, as a pastor, do you think that can be handled well?
Yeah, I think because as the church, we essentially we've redeemed a pagan tradition called Christmas to make sure that we make sure Jesus is the centre of the message at Christmas. And I think that's really important because people get hung up about Christmas, and you know they really struggle with some of the traditions and the Christmas tree and all that stuff. And for me in my household, we Jesus must be the centre of Christmas, but all the other stuff is fun, it's exciting, it's good. In terms of as a church, how we respond to those that are struggling, and we're talking about financially and.
Well, it's everything, mate, isn't it? It's like when we say, hey, you know, I'm just conscious that sometimes as pastors, you're really talking to a mixed crowd when it comes to something like Christmas, where we could say, hey, make sure you spend time with loved ones and family, but for someone this year who may have lost someone.
Yeah, I think
that's
that,
not an easy statement, but also, like you say, with the economy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like gifts and presents and all the trimmings of Christmas.
Yeah.
Some people can't do that this year.
I think they're two really different types of challenges, aren't they? There's the financial struggle. How are we going to survive in that sense? But I think probably sometimes the greater struggle is how are we going to survive isolation. It's that feeling of I haven't got the people that I wish I had around me. It's sometimes you've lost a family member, or you don't have. Maybe you're in a new place. Maybe your family and friends are overseas. Maybe you just don't have the friends that you wish you had. And I think in some ways that struggle is harder than the financial struggle for many people, isn't it?
So Christmas really is an opportunity, number one, for the church to monopolise or grab the moment and preach Jesus.
Yeah.
Which I think all of our congregations did on Sunday. Brilliant presentation, great across the congregations, but strong message of Jesus.
Visitors in, didn't we?
So for the church, it's an opportunity that we can say, no, this isn't a happy holiday. This is all about a baby born in a manger that was the Son of God, the message of Jesus coming. But it's also an opportunity for the church, which is the body of Christ, the people of God, to step into brokenness, to come alongside loneliness, to help in moments of lack, unless we're self-absorbed and we just say, Christmas is about us. Shut the door.
Yeah.
We can't be like that, can we?
It's about lifting our eyes up, isn't it, and seeing beyond ourselves and our own world, and whether that's good or bad, whether our experience of Christmas is good or bad. Actually, one thing that we can all do is we can all lift our eyes up, and we can say, where's the need, and we can, whatever position we're in, we can be part of meeting someone else's need, because actually a generous man devises generous things, right? And so there's always a way to meet someone else's need. That might be through friendship, it might be simply by visiting someone or inviting someone to your home. I think those things are probably as impactful as providing someone with a dinner or providing someone with food at Christmas.
So Portsmouth's, I want to say, 75-80% international now, of people from different nations.
It's an amazing mix of people, aren't we?
Now, when we look out at the crowd, everybody looks happy. They could have a Christmas face on.
Yeah.
What's the realities of what some people may be going through in our church family this Christmas time?
Yeah, well, knowing some of the people in the church family, there are so many people that have left their home nation to come here, to study here, to work here, to start a new life here. There's many, many people that have done that. And so they've left relatives, they've left family and friends behind. Some of them are just starting. We've had so many people move over from other nations just in recent months. So they're starting again here. They're just getting to know people. So it's not sort of a natural thing at the moment for them to say, oh, we'll meet up with you at Christmas. You have to step out and deliberately do that. And that comes more natural to some people as well, doesn't it?
So for church folk that have been around a few years, it's about breaking that passivity, isn't it? Of saying, let me not wait for somebody to walk across the room and come to me.
Yeah.
Let me get up, walk across the room, and start this journey of friendship with, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Because that's when you discover need, isn't it?
Yeah, and you talk a lot about, love is a verb, it's a doing word, it's action. And I think that's really important, that we don't just say, oh, we love our church family. And it's also about our community, but actually it starts with the household of faith, doesn't it? The Bible's clear that if we can't meet the needs of those that are in our household of faith, how can we be effective in our community anyway? So we got to keep our eyes open. We've got to see those that have need within our own household of faith, and reach out. And love is an action word, so it says, come to my house. It says, come and have dinner with us. It says, let's meet up. And it says, we'll provide you with some food.
Yeah.
All of those things.
I think we're back at one of the key things that seems to be a church blockage, which sometimes when we say, how is the church responding to people's needs at Christmas time? It could be answered, my church is doing this.
Yeah.
When actually that's the same problem when we talk about what's the church doing about saving the world, evangelism, what's the church doing about discipling the world. So often it can be looked at, the answer, what is the church as in the organisation doing? Now, as an organisation, we've got Caring Hands, we've got Baby Basics, we've got loads going on from the church.
There's absolutely stacks going on at this Christmas.
And I want to talk in a moment about the church being the people as well, but it's not either or. Someone's ringing me, Stuart.
That's nice.
That's nice, isn't it? I can't take that call right now, but I'll get back to you. So what is the church as in family church? I know there's many churches got so many different initiatives at the moment, but Family Church Portsmouth, what's going on right now with us trying to meet need at this time?
Yeah, so Family Church Portsmouth, Gosport, we're right through the congregations. We're doing different things in the communities. One of the things is that we're continuing to provide local families with the food support that we always provide throughout the year. So that continues. The support for new families, mothers with babies, that continues through Baby Basics. On top of that, in many of our congregations, we're providing Christmas dinner hampers with toys, with presents for children, with all the goodies that go with a Christmas dinner. And that looks different in each of our locations. And it depends partly on funding, depends partly on what donations we've had in. And then I know in our Waterside congregation, the team on Christmas Day are helping to provide a Christmas dinner for local people. So there's lots going on right throughout. So the church as a whole, we're doing lots, but I think it's easy to say, oh, we as a church are doing this, but then not get involved.
And that's the question. It's we, the church, are doing this. We, the people, are doing this. Yeah. But surely it comes back to what am I doing? Yeah.
And also, we, the church, are doing this, but actually that is it's probably 5% of the church that are actually making that happen. So, I would encourage the other 95% to get involved with what we're doing.
How can they get involved? What's some practical ways?
Just speak to one of the team, find out what's needed. And one of the major things that we need all the time is drivers here in Portsmouth.
When I turned up this morning at the offices, there were two great gentlemen, good friends, outside, boots open, and they were loading up their cars with stuff. Yeah. So we need more of them.
It's constant, and actually, rather than them having to deliver 30 hampers or 25 hampers and have to do that really quickly and sort of knock and run kind of thing, it's much better if we have more drivers that can deliver just a few hampers, that can have conversations with people on the doorstep. That's what we're aiming towards. We really want to.
So if somebody's watching now and they're like, I could drive for a morning, I could give a couple of hours, who do they ring?
Contact the church office. Send an email to caringhands@family.church. Speak to Annie, speak to Di, speak to Claire Comrie in Gosport, speak to Emily in Havant, speak to Stacey in Waterside congregation, speak to Sandy in Waterlooville, and we will hook you up. We will make sure that we're using everyone that comes forward really, really well.
Okay. Another thought I wanted to look at this morning was, because you're in touch with a lot of things that are going on in the city, a lot of things that are available. If somebody was watching today, or they knew somebody today that was struggling with needs that were more than a hamper. Now, I'm so thankful for our hampers going out, the Christmas hampers, the presents, everything we're doing to try and help at Christmas time. Yeah. But there's probably people watching, or they know of people watching, that are in more severe situations than that, and are unaware of certain agencies.
Yeah, so I'll talk about Portsmouth Festival because I know mostly about what's available in Portsmouth. But this will be similar for any local authority. There will be really the website of your local authority is the best place to go. Okay. And if you haven't got internet access, which you might not, ask a friend to have a look for you. But on the Portsmouth City Council website, there are two things. One is help with food, and the other is cost of living. And there is lots of support in terms of families, households in this city being able to have enough food and be able to cope with the cost of living crisis and the increase in bills and things like that. So that's sort of locally, and that will then connect you with the right agencies. Also for homelessness, the Society of St James is a fantastic organisation locally in Portsmouth. They, on behalf of Portsmouth City Council, run a lot of the services that are provided for those that find themselves in homeless situations. Obviously, housing options. If you've lost housing, then you go to housing options at Portsmouth City Council. And again, every local authority will have a similar kind of setup. Nationally, obviously, there's the Samaritans that can be contacted if you're in a time of crisis.
They do a great job, don't they, with Samaritans?
It's amazing. What is available is absolutely amazing. And then there is Advice Portsmouth, again locally, your local advice centre, whatever town you're in, there is normally an advice centre. And then also utility companies, most of them now have help available if you're struggling to pay your gas and electric bills. They can connect you with the right support for budgeting and for also making payments that work for you.
Because I think that can be the thing. Sometimes people are getting the bills come through the door that are overwhelming them, and they don't know who to talk to.
Yeah. And I think the natural thing is to say, I can't cope with this, I'm just going to put it in the bin.
Pretend it's not happening.
I'm just going to put it on the shelf and I'll deal with that later. But the longer you leave it, the bigger problem it becomes.
Yeah. So your advice would be, talk to somebody, go to the websites of the City Council, but because there's also initiatives I know now where there's warm spaces in the city. We're one of them, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
And how does that work?
So mostly it's churches, which is wonderful, but there's lots of local organisations, community centres, churches and so on that have opened their doors to people to just drop in during a certain period of time. And there is a list on, again for Portsmouth, there's a list on the City Council website of where you can find those warm spaces. So go to the website, search for warm spaces, and you can find almost continually there is a warm space available for any person or family that needs that.
Do you think it feels like as a society we're taking massive steps backwards, where it's almost like sounds Victorian? But I watched something on the news the other day where a lady, she had no heat, all her heat was cut off, and she was around like a small fire with a couple of logs keeping her. That's almost Victorian. Now, if we're stepping back, it means that we're losing negatively some of the tinsel and extras of Christmas. And that's not good. I'm not saying that's good. But I'm saying it's also a moment where we may rediscover some things about what Christmas is about. Now, that's not under saying that needs aren't important. I'm not saying that. Like we said, needs are real. And we as a church want everyone to have their needs met. But I made a statement on Sunday during our Christmas community event that maybe actually we're stepping back from some of the community, what's the word I'm looking for? When you just, it's about buying stuff all the time.
Some of the trimmings and
the commercial side of Christmas, where how big of a gifts, how many gifts we can get, where people are in a position now to go, well, I can't do that now. But actually, there's things that used to happen, like people writing Christmas cards. Now everybody sends an email.
True, isn't it?
Everybody got, hey, Merry Christmas, everyone. There's a photo of me and my family. Where years ago, people would write the most wonderful, lovely things within Christmas cards. And I know that happened often because people couldn't then afford presents. So they let their heart for people be known in cards. Maybe we're coming back to rediscovering that sometimes us showing love at Christmas isn't about the price of the gift, but the heart shared.
And it's often about the small things, isn't it? The things that you think are maybe quite simple for you or don't cost you anything, but actually they mean a lot to other people. And it's showing care, isn't it? It's showing kindness. I think kindness is such a massive way of showing the love of God to people, just by doing something kind for someone. And again, it puts love into action, doesn't it, when we do that? I agree. I think there's so many ways that we can move away from the commercial side of Christmas, the piles of presents and the lavish, all the trimmings and everything, and actually just come back to basics and say, what is Christmas all about? Well, it's all about the Saviour. It's all about the Son of God who came to give his life for us, and that's something that we must never move away from. But it's also about sharing our time and what we have with other people. It's an opportunity to make friends. It's an opportunity to find out how another culture might celebrate Christmas by having people around or visiting those families.
So there's certain things that may not be in position this Christmas for people, but there's other things that can still make this season meaningful. It's like, I've got this kind of image. Now, I've got an auntie, and she's an older auntie now. But I feel kind of bad. Every Christmas without fail, I never see her, but she always gives a Christmas card to my dad for me, because I'm a nephew. Where I can't remember a time that I sent her a card. But she was raised in a time going through wars and things like that, where again, life was tough. I've heard my dad tell a story about they would get like a clementine or a small orange for Christmas, and a couple of nuts. That was Christmas during the war. That was it, and they were delighted in those things. Do you think in some ways we moved to a commercialism where, I still can't get that word out. I'll try.
Commercialism, yeah.
Commercialism, where when a card delivers, no one reads what's in it. They almost flap it to see what falls out.
I think that does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, a voucher, not just with kids either.
Yeah.
A voucher, a card, money. Well, maybe we're coming back to a moment where we may stop and read the card. And not be about what's going to fall out the envelope, but read the words. I don't know. I think in these moments of not having certain things, we could actually rediscover some things. Coming back to the family of church, we don't just want to look at what the organisation of the church can do with our caring projects. It's got to be the people, right?
Yeah.
And maybe...
And we can all do something.
Yeah. You know, the Bible says love your neighbour as yourself. Maybe it's about checking that your neighbours physically are okay this Christmas. They've got what they need.
Right.
But also asking around church.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that needs somewhere to go this Christmas? Is there anyone...
In family church, there are a number of people that I don't want to see on their own this Christmas. I want them to have somewhere to go this Christmas. But that involves more than the Payne family or the Elmes family. You know, we got to... we're all part of this, and so we need to make sure that we're all ready to open up our homes.
So if somebody had a spare place or could make a place at their Christmas table...
Come to me.
Come to you in Portsmouth, come to one of the other pastors in another congregation.
Yeah.
Because we've got people in family church that need just a family or some people to spend Christmas with.
We do, yeah.
And that's really practical.
It makes a huge difference. It really does. Isolation is one of the most painful things, I think, for people to go through. You know, as a pastor, we see it, don't we? And we see people that just are struggling so much because they're on their own. And they don't have people in their lives, and what a massive... We weren't made to be islands, were we? We were made to be connected with other people. And so church, actually, we are the solution to that. We need to be the solution.
And that's just about loving on each other, right?
Yeah, asking, how are you?
Yeah.
Sometimes asking, have you got somewhere to go this Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope that's inspired you. It's inspired me afresh that when we come and look at Christmas time, let's be conscious that it's a different experience for different people. And if we can step out of our world to look into the world of someone else, either by giving something or providing somewhere to be on Christmas, coming alongside, I think it's about having the look in your eye that's looking for the need of others, right?
Yeah.
And
and lifting your eyes up and putting the words of 1 John chapter 3. Can I just read these words?
Come on, read those
Putting
words.
these words into action. We had a community Christmas party with all of our volunteers that are involved with the community work in all of our congregations last Wednesday evening. And I just shared these words because I just really see that those that are involved with our community work are living this out. And it says this in 1 John 3, verse 16. We know what real love is because Jesus gave up his life for us. And I don't think there's any coincidence that John 3:16 says God so loved the world that he gave his only son. 1 John 3:16 says we know what real love is because Jesus gave up his life for us. We also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. If someone has enough money to live well and sees a brother or sister in need but shows no compassion, how can God's love be in that person? Dear children, let's not merely say that we love each other. Let's show the truth by our actions. And I think that says it all, doesn't it, in terms of what we've been talking about. It's not just about words, it's about action.
It's breaking that line of thought that says, I'm okay, me and my family are okay, we've got enough, we're going to make it, to saying, how can I make others have enough and make it also?
Yeah.
And it's treating us like a community, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and the church itself is a community, and we live in a community where there is so much need. Behind the closed doors of homes in our community, it's staggering, isn't it, what people are facing and going through.
Yeah, it's absolutely shocking when you begin to hear some of the stories, because all of our congregations are in areas where people are just living real tough lives. When you hear some of the stories behind the doors, it makes you, number one, so thankful for what you have, even if what you thought you had was little.
Yeah.
but also surely it must prompt within us, what can we do to not just be the voice of Jesus, but the hands and the feet of Jesus also. So just bringing this to a close today, practically, if people are a part of family church, or their own church, I'm sure every church has got initiatives of people watching this.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to hear about. Yeah.
Ring the church and say, what can I do?
Yeah.
What can I give? But there's still time to be involved with all of our hampers and all that kind of stuff. It's not too late.
Yeah. No, that's not too late. And there are people that don't have time, but they do have money.
Okay.
And so, again, if you give money, then it will be spent on food and on toys and on clothes for people that need it, especially this Christmas. There is on our social media, there's a list, I think, certainly for Gospel in Portsmouth, of things that are needed still for the Christmas hampers that we're doing over the next couple of weeks. Next couple of weeks are going to be really, really busy in all of our congregations. So, again, speak to us, find out how you can get involved.
So these buildings that God's given us are going to be like warehouses.
Oh, they really do.
Going out, out the door.
A lot of other stuff gets cancelled so that we can manage what, we need the space.
Okay, well, there's your opportunity. If you're a part of Family Church, jump on in and be a part of what we're doing. And if you're a part of another church that's connected and watching today, get involved. Contact your leaders, contact your pastors and say, what can I do? I'm going to step out of the crowd. I'm going to be hands-on. What can I do to make someone else's Christmas just a little bit better? I want to finish with one question today.
Oh, yeah.
Which is favourite Christmas carol. Not songs, none of this Wham, Mariah Carey stuff. I'm talking Christmas carols. Not Shaking Stevens.
Okay, yeah.
Christmas
Can it be Mary's
carols.
Boy Child, Boney M? Probably not. It's more a song, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Let me go with Hark the Herald Angels then.
Why do you like that? Is there a verse in it?
Just simply because of the story that it tells. It tells the whole Christmas story in one carol.
Yeah.
And so for me, that it really does share the message of Christmas.
The guys that wrote the carols had incredible understandings of what we would term theology, or the amount of biblical truth that can be in 4 or 5 verses.
Yeah.
Is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think my favourite, and it was sung this year very well, was what was the song they sung at the end where Kelvin?
Oh, Holy Night.
Oh, Holy Night.
Yeah.
That's the one. It's just whenever I hear the song, Oh, Holy Night, fall on your knees. Something in me says, Christmas.
And that was a special performance.
He did great, eh?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's our Christmas talk in church for today. And we're going to be back in the new year in January with a whole new talk in church. And Forge, you'll be back.
Woo!
No Forge here, they're on holiday, but I've got in the habit of doing that now. Forge will be back. And like we said, get involved with your church, get involved with making someone else's Christmas better. Maybe open your home, ask the pastors and the leaders in your church, is there anything I can be involved in practically? Or can I get alongside someone this Christmas time? And if we can make Christmas being good for everyone's responsibility, I think it'll be amazing what we can achieve. So on behalf of me and Stuart, you got something else you want to say?
Are we back on the 3rd or the 10th of January?
We are back on the 10th.
10th, right.
We are back for the next talk in church on the 10th.
10th of January.
When all the students are back.
Fantastic.
But that's us from me and from Stuart.
Nothing else to say.
We hope you have a really, really good Christmas, and we will see you in January. God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.